It's been 10 years since Hugh Evans started Global Citizen, an initiative dedicated to ending extreme poverty. And you probably know it best for the massive festivals that take place in New York every year. In that time, the movement has raised almost $60 billion. His cause has been backed by some of the world's biggest names: Coldplay's Chris Martin, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Rihanna. The list goes on and on. It even includes the Obama family, just to name a few. Would you please welcome the founder, Hugh Evans? Are all those numbers in your favourites?
In my favourites?
Those superstars, are they like in your phone on speed dial?
Can we call Obama right now?
Well, I mean, maybe a few, but I think that the...
That's a yes.
I think that the great thing is that the music industry has really supported us for so long. You know, when Chris Martin of Coldplay said that he wanted to help us for the next 15 years, take the movement all around the world, he was true to his word. The next year, he literally went with us and Jay-Z to India for the first ever festival in India. So they're so committed to the cause, which matters the most.
So 10 years now, which is amazing. You have done so much. Tell us what the original vision was for this platform, Hugh.
So, Lisa, the original vision was to build an unstoppable movement of citizens to take action to eradicate extreme poverty within our lifetime. And we have seen amazing progress. When I was born in 1983, 52% of the planet lived in extreme poverty. It's down to less than 10% of the world's population today. But we obviously know that because of COVID-19 and because of the war in Ukraine, 200 million more people have been pushed into extreme poverty in the last 2 years alone. So we need to take urgent action now. And that's why we're calling on citizens all around the world to be part of the global citizen movement and take that action.
Hugh, you can't just buy a ticket to your festival, can you? How does somebody get a ticket?
Well, the way it works is that you download the Global Citizen app and you start taking action, and all of your actions earn you points, and your points are your currency. So, like, say if you want to download it today and you want to see Harry Styles next year here in Australia when he tours, you can do so through the Global Citizen app. But the way it works is, like, alone we can feel like our voice doesn't really matter. But when millions of global citizens are calling on the same world leader to respond, they always respond, because we live in a democracy, and so they step up. And so when you all tweet at the same time, it's amazing to see what happens.
And the concerts are really sort of the pinnacle every year. They're in September.
That's right.
In the middle of New York. You're in Central Park, aren't you?
That's right.
Because that's the only place that could hold the level of crowd that you have. But how do you keep upping the ante every year? I heard Harry Styles just there.
Well, this
Is there any chance of him next year?
Maybe. This past year...
Call him now!
No.
Let's check.
No, this past year, I mean, up in the ante, I mean, we're so thrilled this year that Metallica headlined with Mariah Carey in Central Park, and then simultaneously in Ghana, West Africa, Usher and SZA and Stormzy and Thames brought the whole 20,000 global citizens to Black Star Square in Ghana. So every year we want to take the movement to a whole new level. I mean, I'm hoping in the future we can bring it back to Australia, because as a proud Australian, I just would love the idea of bringing the festival here one day.
I feel like there's an elephant in the room. Ollie Alexander, you have right in front of you.
Thank you, Ollie.
I'm available if you ever need me.
Thank you. That is very sweet of you. Incredibly sweet.
You're raising billions of dollars and you're tackling poverty. How do you decide where the money goes?
So we work with the best implementing partners around the world. For example, this year we were supporting the Global Fund to fight HIV, AIDS, malaria and tuberculosis in their replenishment effort. And we called on the Canadian government to step up and the European Commission to step up. They increased their investments into supporting HIV, AIDS efforts all around the world. And those partners are delivering literally last-mile vaccines, antiretroviral drugs to those who need it most. We also work on education on the front lines with our partner Education Cannot Wait. They support kids who are in refugee crisis or refugee situation to not miss a year of quality education. So we have the best implementing partners, and our job is to keep mobilising millions of global citizens to call on world leaders to raise billions of dollars for our mission.
Global Citizen also you also campaign on climate action.
Right.
COP27 is on at the moment and G20 is soon. How are you feeling about the outcomes of this summit?
Well, the way I think about climate change is I think about it in terms of inputs and outputs, right? Because you need to pull carbon from the atmosphere, mostly in the form of planting trees or nature-based solutions, but you also need to stop emitting more carbon. And the poorest nations have done the least to contribute to the climate crisis. And so when you think about Australia's contribution, you think, OK, well, we industrialised through carbon. We also have a high GDP, so as relative nations, so we can actually afford to contribute our fair share to the climate crisis, right? And when you calculate what that fair share is, the magic number is $3 billion. And while that sounds like a lot of money, funny story, this week I was in Canberra and I happened to bump into, of all places, the submarine convention that was taking place in Canberra. And I asked them, how much is a submarine? And they said it's $3 billion. So you could either literally have one Collins-class submarine or you can tackle climate change.
But the submarines, they want the water to rise.
That's true. Very, very observant. You are right. So it's actually counterproductive. So we are at the opposite ends of the spectrum.
You might have noticed Tom's thinking all the time.
Yes, you're a quick guy.
All I'm thinking is I'm going to grab that phone and call Obama, I swear to God.
Hugh, unfortunately, we are out of time. Will you please thank Hugh Evans?